Our pediatrician that we used at the time when my son was born had no clue what 22q was and had never heard of it.
At first, my parents thought it was strep throat, so I stayed home from school for a while. And then it got progressively worse to the point where I couldn't even move. So I was taken by stretcher via ambulance to the hospital. And then I stayed there for about a week or so before they were able to diagnose what it was.
My pediatrician did actually know what the deletion was, but she said something very interesting to me once we came back to her with the diagnosis. She said, I actually follow a couple of other children with the deletion in my practice, but I would have never detected that with Ethan because he shows so few of the traditional symptoms or issues that are related to the deletion, and that just shows the wide variability.
22q11 deletion is something that affects the 22nd chromosome in the body. Part of it is missing. It's second in prevalence to Down syndrome.
It can mean different things to different people depending on how severe or insevere the case is for them.
Once they discover that they have 22q, there's a whole litany of medical things that they need to be watched for the rest of their lives.
It's got such a wide variability. No two people or no two children demonstrate or present in the same way.
We had quite a few challenges when Justin was born. The first being the cleft palate and having to feed him, figure out how to feed him correctly.
It affects me by the way I talk because my voice gets high sometimes.
My thyroid gland is fairly weak, so it doesn't really produce enough calcium or vitamin D that I need to sort of sustain myself.
I had surgery on my hand. I had a few tendons, and I think I had to do that because my hands were closed a lot of times, so I had to widen my hand a lot when I was little.
No one knows what's next. Every child is different. It's scary. It's a little eye-opening. It's also an amazing experience I wouldn't trade in for anything.
When we started to develop the 22q program at Dragonfly Forest, we started with our autism program. And it really is about making sure that you have clear transitions for these kids, that you surround them with all the medical needs that they have, and that the people understand these kids with 22q and what different issues they're faced with.
The first year that Caitlin was here, she was very nervous and apprehensive, and as we walked through the doors, she saw some of the nurses and the doctors that she had met along her journey in learning about 22q.
To come here and to see other kids with 22q opened her world. It made her feel so much more confident about the things that were wrong with her, physical things that she had wrong with her, that other kids had them too. And she was not bothered by it. It's like, I have it, you have it, let's go. Now it's time to play. And it was a great experience.
It's really special working with the little girls and stuff because I can understand how, they have a hard time. When I was little, I had a hard time when I had 22q, so I could definitely understand what they're going through.
I have some advantages and I have some disadvantages. Like the advantage that I have is coming here every summer and spending time with other people like me, because I feel welcome and safe.
The Dempster Family Foundation is a fabulous resource for parents and professionals and people with 22q.
It started with Ryan Dempster, who's a pitcher for Major League Baseball. His daughter has 22q.
Because of how she was affected, they decided to become more involved in helping other families to have greater resources of information and aid.
They raise awareness in incredibly creative ways. The bus is a great example. They provide educational resources and resources for medical practitioners and a lot of funding for things like the Dragonfly Forest Camp.
It was just a really good experience to learn that we're not the only ones going through this, and there is help and there is resources if we ever need them.